Hey everyone, this is Fi. I'm checking out Yark Survivors. It's a game I've not played before. I'm gonna give it a playtest here, see if we can give some feedback. I've not seen anything past this screen. This is a early access demo. The game is on Steam apparently, but we're gonna see what we can find out here. Oh, okay. So I guess all the stuff on the left is for multiplayer, which is why it has this text over the top of it. Currently we're in a window, which is why you might see like a bar at the top of the, or top or bottom of the capture here. I'm wondering if we can get into full screen. Well, okay, click on settings, it went into a smaller window for some reason. Does this work? Okay, full screen. Oh, alright. Interesting. So it does appear to be proper full screen. I'm surprised how long it took to switch here. Usually with the Windows 10 game mode or whatever it's called, it will switch faster when it's an exclusive full screen, but I don't know what that has to do with. I've never seen that happen before, so I don't know if that's something to do with the game or not. It's probably not important. I don't know what this personal nameplate means. Frame rate 60. I'm gonna go ahead and set that to, I guess, 144. I don't know what it's going to look like in the capture. My screen refresh rate is actually 165, so it's a good thing to, in my opinion, it's nice to have this be settable directly. You know, type in a value. I also, like, there's some merit to having it slightly lower, like a couple frames lower to your actual refresh rate on your monitor, or the maximum refresh rate, I should say, because I can reduce latency ever so slightly. So like a lot of people, in my case, I have 165 hertz monitor, so I might set it to like 163 for a frame rate limit or something like that. So yeah, this is kind of nice because it's convenient, but you know, there's different people might want to set it to something different, so it can be nice if I can just type in a number or something. I think that's probably ideal. Nevertheless, I think that's going to be good enough. Let me just try and make sure that we're still in the capture here. I know it keeps going back and forth between a window. It probably looks silly, but I think we're good, so let's go ahead and give this a try. I don't know what all these things we can click on are. Player, I guess this is... There's me, we got settings we just clicked on. We got what looks like Twitter. Slightly outdated logo. A joke game by LOP based on Yark, a kobold adventure made with Unreal Engine. Alright, just click on play. So I guess we're playing. It does not look like it's rendering at native resolution. Looks a little pixelated. Okay, we got a pause menu, we got move using WASD. Oh, it looks like it does support the gamepad. I'm gonna prefer that if I can, so I'm gonna grab my Xbox controller here. Let's try that. Dodge is A, check skills is B, choose upgrade is the D-pad, communicate is Y. What? Where did that music come from? I guess it just finished the other track here. Let me turn that up a little bit. Somehow it got quite quiet, I guess. Hopefully it sounds okay in the capture. To muse and titillate the insatiable something something. Let's see what that said. Okay, it's auto attack, so this is the... Oh. I think there's a little bit of inertia on the movement, which is not what I would prefer. I like it when I can move, for this genre of game, I like it when I can move instantaneously. That's what it feels like. Let's see, I'm gonna try my... Yeah, there's definitely a little bit of inertia on the movement there. I'm just trying the keyboard. I'm going back to gamepad now. I know I'm getting hurt here. That's okay. Yeah, there's our dodge, and then the B button is something I don't remember. What was it? Check skills. is B. Choose upgrade, communicate. Alright, can I like... Oh, I guess this is our... Well, it's something, it might be EXP, or it might be... It looks like it's going to be our EXP, so we've got... Okay, looks like I can hit the pause and then choose the upgrade, I guess. Arcane Disc, regenerate, and speed. Yeah, I don't know what any of these are, but I'm gonna go ahead and choose regenerate, I think. Looks like we can do down. If we press down, we can maybe get like reshuffle or whatever it is, get 3 more options, I'm guessing. And the X3, I'm guessing, is like the amount of times I can do that. That's my guess, but I'm gonna go ahead and... Oh, okay, so I can't actually select the thing in the pause menu. I have to go unpause and then... Alright, I'm gonna pause for a second because I don't want to talk. Not that big a deal, but like I had to use my right hand to press the D-pad to select the upgrade because I didn't want to stop moving, because this is a type of game where you don't usually want to stop moving unless there's you know, pauses at some point where enemies aren't attacking you. But yeah, it's a little weird to reach for the D-pad with the right hand. It's not that big of a deal, but I'd probably rather that be somewhere else, you know. Some other button on the gamepad or something, so that I wouldn't have to do that. I'm thinking if I try to do a little bit of a different angle, I might hit more of them at once. It's probably a slightly more optimal way than trying to hit one of them at once kind of thing. So I'm hearing myself get hurt. It's a little hard to... It kind of sucks how the pause menu obscures the whole screen so much. For the sake of me trying to do the playtest and talk about what I'm doing here, but... yeah, so I feel like... Embrace the void. Right. My feeling is that that tiny bit of inertia, along with the fact that I'm not really sure where my collider is on my character and also on the enemies, is making it harder to make judgments about like how I need to move to avoid damage and stuff. But yeah, I really, it would just feel a lot better, I think, if I just didn't have any inertia for sure. And then the colliders, it's definitely good to have a pretty small collision on the player, in my opinion. That's something you learn from, you know, working on the old shoot 'em ups. But that's also, you know, at least it's learnable. You can kind of learn where the colliders are, and you can make a little bit better judgment, I guess. But yeah, it's hard, especially because the enemies are right, like the enemy speed is very close to the player speed. It's not like a very significant difference, so it makes it a little tricky to be confident being able to do some of these maneuvers. So like, it's always the thing you want to aim for, where it feels like anytime you take damage that it was definitely, you know, your fault, and it wasn't like you know what I mean? It doesn't feel like it's a result of the game or the way the game is presenting things or anything. It just feels like, oh, that was definitely me. And the little details like that about being able to, you know, move right when you need to, and have the colliders not be too big. Yeah, the enemies are really fast. Like, I don't mind like having a, you know, slow-ish move. I wouldn't even call this slow for the move speed, but the enemies being so close to the player, along with just that little, ever so slight delay in updating the movement because of this little bit of inertia on there. Yeah, I don't know. To me, that doesn't really feel like I should be getting hit in all of these situations, but it's one of these things that's just kind of hard to explain other than the way it feels and you know, my personal experience of making shmup type games and stuff. It's usually just it comes down to the things I already mentioned, where it's like, you know, banish all the inertia and make the colliders nice and small, and just having, okay, I can't use my mouse to point out anything here, but just having the collision on the player smaller than the actual visual itself, that kind of thing, and also for the enemies as well, like those sorts of things can, it's kind of weird how it works, but it keeps the player in a situation where they are, it's like the very edges of, trying to think of the best way to explain it. When you're talking about, like, it's sort of like an edge case where it's like you're really close to something, but it's like, does that count as hitting or not? And what you want to do is you kind of make the colliders nice and small so that there's not really a that question. It's like, should that have hurt me or not, right? So what happens is that when you have the smaller collision, when you do get hit, it's like there's absolutely no doubt I was definitely, you know, in a point of collision with the enemy, that kind of thing. That's what goes on subconsciously in the player's mind. Whereas when it's like, when the collision is kind of larger and it you get those edge cases where it's like, for me as a player, I'm not really sure if that should have counted as a hit or not, but the game might count it as a hit, right? And it's not even the fact that you know, me or the game is wrong, you know. It's just the idea that for me as the player, my expectation isn't being violated if you make sure that the collision is like smaller than the actual visual, because then it like I said, it creates a situation where there's no doubting about it. Hopefully that made sense. Yeah, I also think it'd be better, especially for the beginning game, to have the enemies move a little slower, because just a little bit slower, because it does also kind of compound things a little bit when the movement speeds are close to each other between the player character and the enemies. When you get these situations where it's like the enemies are kind of converging and you're trying to squeeze between a gap and things like this, or just, you know, take a turn and they're kind of, you know, this I sort of did that on purpose to kind of illustrate that sort of movement, I guess, and those kinds of things. I feel like I should be able to do them, but I think just because of the, in part because of the movement speeds, it makes it harder to pull that off. And even here, like again, with the enemies are kind of converging, and I can't really squeeze between them. These bats are quite fast, so... And yeah, in my opinion, it just doesn't necessarily feel that good if I have to, like... If I feel like I have to constantly run at full speed in one direction, sort of thing. Like, I can definitely, at least when I'm using the gamepad, obviously I have the analog joystick, and that helps to modulate my speed, and you know, you can do that as well with the keyboard, and I know especially because we have inertia, I definitely can. But even if isn't any inertia, you know, you can definitely modulate your distance pretty readily by just, you know, tapping the button. But going back to gamepad here, I definitely want to feel like I can do like maneuvers like go around more and stuff, because when you're not, obviously if you're going in a straight line, you're going to be moving the fastest, you're going to be putting the biggest difference between you and the enemy speed. But when you try and go off like to the side or go around, then it's like they're catching up to you a lot more, so that's when those differences in your movement speed are going to matter more, that kind of thing. So ultimately this is just really like tiny little details, but they make such a big difference, in my opinion, to just the fundamental experience of this kind of game. But I'm going to go ahead and try to give a little bit more of an honest try this time, rather than talk so much. Feels like there's more. What? Like, I didn't feel like I actually had a way out of that situation right there. Without taking damage, I mean. Gonna try and get some EXP here. Alright, now I'm trying to... Okay, I'm gonna pause so I can look up here properly. Ember Shot, Lightning Storm, Fire Breath. Can I click on this? Ember Shot, Lightning Storm, Fire... So I'm guessing these are just different weapons or whatever. Maybe it's like the Vampire Survivor's weapons. Since I have no idea what these are, like, it just doesn't... The actual choice is meaningless to me because I have no information to go off of. It definitely, I mean, you can assume there's probably some kind of balance between them, but it would also be nice just to have some kind of an explanation of what they do, I think. But yeah, which one sounds coolest? Ember Shot, Fire... I'm gonna go with Fire Breath, I guess. Click, click. Okay, I was hoping that would work. I have to unpause. And... Alright, there we go. Now, do I have to... Does that happen automatically? There it goes. Yeah, I don't feel confident that it's reasonable to actually avoid damage in that kind of situation where the enemies are that fast and they're kind of converging on you like that. Oh, EXP pile. Gosh, it's really... Okay, here we go. We got speed. I think I want speed. That's probably a good idea. Just because the enemies are just quite fast in this game. Probably want to keep hitting these guys. Alright, Blade Storm, Ice Blast, Regenerate. I think I want a non-zero amount of regeneration just because I don't think there's any... I don't know if there's any other way for me to get health back after taking damage. Oh shoot. I'm trying to deal a good DPS here. Does that blow up? Why does it seem like my attacks aren't doing damage anymore? What's going on? Can I not hurt enemies that are on fire or something? Does it just not do the visual the same? Because I don't see them flash when I hit them, so I guess maybe it's doing damage, but it's just not giving the same effects or something. Oops. Yeah, it's a lot of stuff on the screen. It's a little hard to keep track of everything at once. It'd be a little easier if I wasn't recording, because I could focus a little better, you know. Just how it goes. Definitely not full focus while doing these things. So I don't know. I'm wishing I could kill these guys a little faster and. All right, get some EXP here. Block. Interesting. Ice spike, attack speed. I mean, that sounds awful good. The attack speed, so that's what I took. Oh. I genuinely don't know what hit me. So that's kind of unfortunate. Because I don't know which thing hit me. I couldn't tell, so maybe it's just... again, it kind of comes down to the collision shapes you're using, I think. General size of it. Yeah, I don't know. It's... Oh. Why did it... I'm hitting the A button. Okay. It kicked me out of the window, and I had to go click on the window again and to get back in the game. I don't really know what was happening. I'm pretty sure I just hit the A button a few times. So it was a little weird. But yeah, it feels like it's a little bit slow to get going. Not in terms of the the speed of the action, but in terms of the progression. I feel like I'm fighting the same enemies for a good while and not getting that much stronger, at least at the start. And the enemies are a little bit, I don't know if you want to call them kind of spongy, maybe just a little spongy just based on feel alone, where you kind of have to hit them a lot before they die. For them being like the first, I don't know, do they get stronger? Like, even though it's these little, what are they? Oh, they look like rodents and pigs at the same time. I don't know what they are. Little rodent guys, I guess. It seems like you're fighting the same guys, but I think maybe they get a little stronger over time or something. I don't know if that's the case, because at the very start they take 2 hits, I think. But then after a few minutes, like I had, the fire breath and everything, and they weren't really melting out of the way like you might expect. And yeah, just the fact that they are so fast, it makes it a little bit harder to get that EXP, so that might kind of slow down the feeling of progression a bit. Oh, so that's what that does. Well, that's helpful. Alright, I think I got a couple of levels. Let me see, I think maybe speed, Ember Shot, Arcane, maybe we go with Ember Shot, let's see what that does. Max health, attack speed sounds awful helpful. Just because it's more of a multiplicative effect, I assume it applies to like all of your attacks. Even though I only have 2 things right now. Why did that hit me? Sometimes I see my guy swing and it doesn't really look like the attack hits the guys. So it's like, I don't know if it's because the collision is only being checked on the first frame or something. Maybe I just moved slightly out of the way for a moment and then the animation is still going. So it kind of looks like it should be hitting guys when it doesn't. I don't know if that's happening or something like that, or it's just a perspective thing. Alright, try to get some more upgrades this time. Alright, what do we have? Speed, Blade Storm, I don't know what that means. Let's try Blade Storm. Interesting. Alright. I'm getting more visuals on screen now, so it might make it a little harder to just kind of see everything, I don't know. Ghost Blade, Fire Breath, Magic Missile. So okay, does it just, I can't really tell what it's doing. I see blades coming out. I don't really understand the behavior because there's just a lot of things on the screen. It's a little hard to see. Does it just throw it kind of at a random enemy, or is it like the closest enemy and then it goes in a straight line? I don't really know what it's doing, but something like that. Regenerate, Ice Blast, Block. I think I want to go for the Regenerate. But yeah, so far, what's the button here? So far it seems like my upgrades are, that's not gonna work, is it? Gosh darn it. My upgrades are like additional weapons, but there's not really a lot of the oh, I didn't even see that thing that blew up. What's the word? Kind of distracted by trying to play that sound out. That's not going good. Okay. There's not a lot of synergistic upgrades that I've seen so far. It seems like I'm mostly just getting new weapons, or like in Vampire Survivors you'd call them weapons, right? I'm pretty sure. But the only synergistic one I think I noticed was the attack speed one, which I'm only assuming applies to all the weapons and not just like your base. What just hit me now? Because I hear the sound and I saw there was like an explosion near me, but it didn't look like I was in range of it, so I don't really know which thing is hitting me. What the heck? Those guys are so ridiculous looking. Wait, what? I guess I can like upgrade Ghostblade? Is that what? Because it's like level 2. I'm gonna go for Block, see what that does. I don't know what that does. I have no idea. Whoa. Surprised I didn't take damage just now. I didn't hear the sound. My health is low. Ghost Blade again, I guess, or attack speed might be a good upgrade. Because that's... apparently, it seems like the only synergistic one so far. Holy crap. But yeah, like, so I'm still fighting these same little rodent guys. Visually they look the same, but you'd think after getting all these upgrades that they would just melt out of the way, but I guess the game is just making them stronger or something. But it's kind of like, it's sort of unsatisfying if you keep getting upgrades, but the enemies just keep scaling up as well. Like it's one thing if it's new enemies, but if it's just the same little guys, I feel like it should just wipe them out, you know? But it's hard, like... I don't feel like the weapons are so strong that I can like melt the smaller enemies out of the way, you know, which would be maybe a little more satisfying in a way. Because everything is still just kind of tanking several different attacks. And I'm gonna die if I don't be really careful here. And yeah, it's really hard to do the upgrading while playing like this. Block, I don't know what block even does. Is there? Oh, I forgot there's a dodge button. Oh, my bad. Yeah, so... okay. It's a small thing, I mean... it helps to tutorialize it, you know, but it's just like one button that I forgot to use, so it's not like you have to make a whole big tutorial about just teaching one button, but I definitely should have been using that. Ice Blast, Ghost Blade, or Block. I guess we go for Ghost Blade again, because I'm assuming if I keep choosing that one, it's going to get stronger. There's so much stuff on screen, I can't really see what any of the effects of the upgrades are doing at this point. And I really have to, you know, focus a lot on my movement. I'm really staring at the center of the screen here. Just because I'm always like right on the edge of the enemies. Alright, so the dodge button, I need to use that, obviously. And, you know, it doesn't help, because apparently the dodge has a long cooldown. But, you know, doing the playtest recording videos like this sometimes, it's just the fact that I'm not as focused. And I'm focused on, you know, talking about things that I see and stuff sometimes. might be a little bit more likely to miss something like that. But yeah, holy cow! I didn't realize how large the cooldown on the dodge is. That's like really, you're really not meant to use it very often, apparently. Okay. And as with anything, oof, I didn't quite go in the direction I hoped. That's, I guess, just one of the troubles of using a thumbstick. Trying to get the angle just right in sort of an instantaneous manner like that can be kind of tricky, but maybe more experience at the game, you get better at that. Magic Missile, Ghost Blade, attack speed. Let's go with the Magic Missile, I suppose. Yeah, I can't quite get the angle I want. Max health, regenerate Ice Blast. I always feel like max health is like the worst upgrade in these kinds of games because I'm always like less than max. Maybe it's just a skill issue, I don't know, but it always seems to be the case. Regenerate is probably my best option. Ah, the frickin' bats though. Phew. A little bit tiring trying to focus on the game so much while talking. Usually when I playtest games, they're not quite as focus intensive. It depends, I guess, but alright, yeah, I don't know, I don't feel like it matters that much, honestly, which upgrades I pick in a lot of situations. Maybe is it just the point we are in development, there just hasn't been a lot of more synergistic upgrades, even if they're planned, and some of these I'm really not feeling good about the collision on this normal sword swing here, because it seems like there's too many times where it doesn't really hit when it looks like it should be. Max health speed, Blade Storm. Fire Breath, Ghost Blade, let's go with Fire Breath. What is that? Magic Donut. I don't know, I have no idea what that did. Okay, I think you might get iframes on the dodge, which is kind of nice, I think. Maybe you can dodge through the enemies. Maybe I should have been dodging through the, uh-oh. Dodge is on cooldown. Maybe I should have been dodging through those bats that kept running into me. Yeah, I definitely think you have to be careful about, you know, what am I saying? Designing any of the enemies or anything so that you have to dodge them because of how long the cooldown is on the dodge. So like, you know, if you used it 5 seconds ago and it's not up again yet, then that can wait, what is the sound? Is that a bug? That it kept doing the hit sound, the hurt character hurt sound over and over again, or is it because of the skeletons are on fire? Did I get on fire and it was doing damage over time? Because I couldn't tell. I was just like, what the hell's happening? All right, I'm not doing the upgrading. Yeah, that's a lot to focus on at once. I mean, there's definitely a reason why in Vampire Survivors, for example, and many other games that they have the game kind of pauses to let you pick your upgrade, right? You don't have to do it in the middle of trying to dodge skeletons and stuff. I guess we do Blade Storm again. Again, I'm only guessing that it makes it stronger. I don't think there's anything in the game telling you like what the upgrades are actually doing for you, so I don't really know. You know, it's not even really satisfying without having some idea of what I'm getting for a benefit, I think, but I'll try that. Maybe that'll help. Ice Spike Lightning, let's see, I'm moving, I'm trying to look up at the top and I'm getting skeletons running over me. At the moment also, like I'm gonna pause it just to talk, but at the top here, like I can't really see much up here above where my character is at the moment, and you know, that kind of sight range can matter a lot, especially when you have skeletons that are really fast running at you. So that might be something to be careful about. I guess I'm gonna select speed, maybe that'll help. So I don't think I'm getting a lot of EXP right now because I'm just trying to like survive and kill these guys, and I'm not going back to get the stuff. Don't blow me. Oh my gosh, that skeleton, that was like, there's no hope in me. Well, I could have used the dodge button, I forget about it, but this is something I have to get in my mind. So if the dodge was on like a shorter cooldown, I'd probably be using it more often, and then I would more quickly, you know, get used to the fact that I have it, rather than having to save it for like emergency situations. Then it's kind of harder to, you know, develop that sort of reflex where you remember that you can even do it, you know. But I guess it's something that can happen over time. We got Ember Shot, max health, and attack speed. I'm gonna go for attack speed, I think. Hopefully that'll be good. I want EXP. Blade Storm attack speed. Let's go with more attack speed. Stuff is hitting me and I can't really process it all. It's hard with these things that explode on the ground, especially because they're not that visible compared to the area of effect that they have, and there's just so much else on the screen. Yeah, those are particularly dangerous, I think. And I don't really like the way that they just not super visible when there's so much stuff on the screen. Well, I don't know if I want to keep going. I feel like I'm just gonna be doing the same things over and over again if I keep playing here. I am the Rizzler. Okay, I'm not gonna read that. Yeah, so as far as what's here already, wait, let me try going back to the main menu here. I think it's a little buggy, the menu controls with the gamepad, maybe. Okay, so I think I saw something about supposedly there were like meta upgrades you could buy with gold or something. Maybe it was on, I think I peeked the Steam page for this and maybe it was on there, but it doesn't look like we have that in the game. currently. So yeah, I don't know, but I think yeah, I mean, I think I'll hold to what I said, where what I would do would be, you know, to get rid of any inertia on the movement and probably try to shrink some of those collisions, particularly the player collider itself, and usually it works pretty well if you make that nice and small, and then you don't have to worry so much about the enemy ones, as long as they're not like bigger than the actual visual itself, and that would be bad. But I think those changes, and you know, maybe make the enemies just a little bit slower, at least to start with. I think those changes alone would help the just kind of the fundamental feel of the game a lot. Obviously it plays better once I actually start using the dodge button, so I apologize for not figuring that out earlier. And yeah, I don't know what's up. I guess the enemies just kind of scale over time, even though they're like the same enemies, so it's sort of, I think that's kind of lame, like I said. As well as the most of the upgrades seem to be just extra attacks and stuff, and I already mentioned all this stuff, and I'm not saying anything new right now. I'm just trying to summarize, I suppose. But yeah, I mean, apart from just little kind of small polish details and stuff like that, and I don't know if you call that polish or not, some of that is pretty fundamental, but those little details I think would improve the game quite a bit, and apart from that, you know, it's just kind of fundamentally pretty fun to dodge enemies and do the attacks, and you know, manage the spacing and all this stuff. So, and you know, it's definitely feeling like a game, and hopefully that's helpful for you. You can let me know if I missed anything obvious. I don't think I did. Oh, one other thing. So the it looks like the render scale, you know, it's not rendering at my native screen resolution here, like the UI is, but the 3D part isn't. So I don't think, yeah, I don't know if that's done intentionally or not. I think it was mentioned that this game is made in Unreal Engine, which by default I think does that. So there's a way to turn that off, but if you didn't figure that out, I don't know. I can't remember it off the top of my head, but I could let you know how to change that. But other than that, hopefully this was useful for you. And let me know if you have any questions. I'll see you in the next video.